Hey Disnerds, it's Alex. Welcome back, and I don't know what to say. We are finally here to start getting ready for my Walt Disney World trip and kind of officially spill all the secrets and all the surprises in terms of what's gonna be happening and kind of setting up some expectations today. So if you're coming back to my channel, thank you always so much for your support. I hope you're gonna equally enjoy this ride as much as I will. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping on by. My name is Alex. I am a hardcore Disnerd, but also Canadian as my handle does suggest. In today's video, what we're specifically going to be doing is we're going to be doing a pack with me. So kind of seeing how does Alex travel? What do I pack? What am I expecting to need for my trip? What are some surprises that I'm going to be putting out there? Some travel tips that really work for me and hopefully will work for you guys. And we're also going to be doing this over a 2-day period because today I'm going to be packing most of the things just to make sure they're all there. But tomorrow, especially it being within kind of like a COVID era, you know, a Canadian that's traveling to the US, there are a lot of requirements that, you know, everybody needs to take when they are traveling nowadays. So I'll actually be taking you on the journey with me where I go get my COVID test. Because that is part of the prep with me and pack with me package, isn't it? Right? I mean, kind of full disclosure, if you guys are thinking of traveling to Walt Disney World, you know, that's exactly what it is. You know, you have to be fully real. And we are going to get very real today because my place is a mess. I apologize in advance, but let's just go hop on this journey together and we will do full disclosure and kind of put everything out on the line in terms of showing you guys what I've been doing for the past couple of months because it's going to be a fun journey. And as you can kind of see, I have a special vlog grip, if you will. So it's like the camera grip where I can hold it in my hand versus actually holding my phone. So this is something that's going to become very useful in the parks when I'm doing my first kind of vlog series and bringing you guys along on this journey with us. And I am just so flipping excited for you guys to kind of see all these surprises are coming up. So literally now the cat is out of the bag and I can officially announce that I'm going on this trip with Jessi. So Jessi from, if you know from YouTube, Miss Cherry's channel. If you haven't checked her out, please go check her out. She is just such an incredible friend of mine, and I am so excited to be going on our first trip together to Walt Disney World. We have been literally discussing this for like a year in terms of going on a trip together, and then it's happening. It's happening. Just officially a couple of months ago, we officially made the decision when Boo Bash was coming out. Officially, we said, let's do it. Let's go book a trip. And also on Instagram, she goes by Miss Jessi Cherry. So I'll make sure to link all her information down below. Please go follow her as well and go follow her Instagram stories because we're both going to be doing a lot of our trip through our Instagram stories and vlogging and most likely some TikTok. So go follow us on all those things if you'd like. To just try to see, you know, the full experience of what we're trying to bring. Again, we really appreciate that. If you are liking both our content, to go ahead and subscribe and hit those alerts. But if you're just here for the journey, we really do appreciate you being here. And I'm just so excited. So excited. This is actually the first time I'm vlogging any sort of trip. I'm very much more of a photo taker. So to kind of be first vlogging a Walt Disney World trip, I am very excited, intrigued, scared, all the emotions in terms of doing it in this way and just kind of putting it out there on camera. We're just really kind of excited about having this moment together and having this full week-long trip. And this trip, Disnerds, originally was supposed to be a 4-day trip, by the way, that expanded into a 7-day trip for multiple reasons that I will be getting into over time over the series, but specifically with it being COVID era and whatnot, and because of the fact that I had to get a test going there and back to, in order to travel within the United States and then back into Canada, you know, it didn't make sense for like a 4-day trip to spend that extra money because those tests, cost money, and I'll get more into information about that as well. But also too, there was like some flight reschedule issues. Like Canada flight companies are up and down in terms of rescheduling. I've been rescheduled 5 times in regards to my flights. So that was a little bit of a downer, and that's why I said it's been kind of a stress getting here, because I literally had to reschedule my flight going there about 2-3 weeks ago again. But luckily everything, knock on wood, is officially set in stone. I'm flying now through Delta, and Delta is an American company, and when I checked it, the flight looked really booked up versus some Canadian companies where they had like 8 or 9 seats. Like, I'm not even kidding you guys. It was pretty nuts. So it was very stressful. And so I'm just so excited, one, that this trip is happening, and two, that it's finally here so we can just kind of get there and just kind of bring you guys along on this adventure. So Jessi and I are just so freaking excited to just kind of meet, but also just go on to this adventure together and just bring you guys along. And we just really hope that you guys have fun with us and you like that, you know, what we're kind of doing. We're doing so many fun things, like 2 boo bashes, Halloween horror nights. We're going to all the parks. We're gonna go see Happily Ever After and the Epcot fireworks, and we're gonna go ahead and rent a car. There's a lot of really fun things that you guys are gonna be able to see through these series, or that I hope that you guys like in these series. So let's go hop on this adventure together and start packing. So first things first, what I wanted to share with you is that over the past 3 months, so I basically started this countdown on about day 86 when we booked our trip about 3.5 months. So it was about like 100 days in to our trip. So I did this kind of fun countdown for us that kind of counted down every 10 days. And we are officially here. I really can't believe that we are about 2 days away from leaving at this point. And I did have this workout. I go to the gym and do my elliptical and some other things, but I'm really bad at sit-ups, push-ups, jumping jacks, and planking. So I kind of did this to kind of get me in the mood to kind of get into it. But as you can see, I mean, we were really conscious of you know, trying to just feel good and just have fun on our trip and feel cute, but also kind of just the anticipation, the lead up. And I can't believe that all the stickers are filled over the day. So let me know in the comments down below, do you guys do kind of countdown calendars towards your Disney trips? I started it with my last one in 2019, but this one I did like a whole full like sticker thing of it, and I just love it. And I just, oh my God, I really still can't believe that this is here now. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So again, I apologize, the place is a little bit a mess. I already have some stuff laid out here, but this is what I really wanted to show you guys. Sorry, I'm taking you a full view through my condo. So this is the mess, my organized mess in terms of most of the things that I'll be bringing on the trip. So like some bags, some clothes that I wanted to make sure, some toiletries, some packing bags for the suitcases. I have my 2 suitcases there with my vaccine. And then I actually have a section here of all some shirts that have already been washed and like kind of hung so I can fold them. So let me know what you guys do for your trip. I kind of like to bring out my suitcases about like 2 to 3 weeks in advance of my trip, and I just start throwing things in there. So that's what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, is just been kind of doing a lot of laundry, making sure that like, do I really need to wear these shirts before my trip? If not, let me just hang them now so that they aren't, that I don't have to do like a last minute wash and really kind of see what I want, because we have so many, and I'm going to show you this. We actually have an Excel that Jessi and I done where we actually kind of pre-planned our outfits depending on the parks and stuff like that. So to do some Disney bounding. And as you know, it's always nice to feel cute when you're going to the parks and what bags you're going to bring and whatnot. And I have been a Disney bounder in the past, but this is really kind of like my first experience, like really going like full out, planning the outfits. It's going to be hot though, because we're going like the beginning of September, where it's still like kind of like hurricane season, very humid, very hot. Like it's basically about like 40 degrees Celsius, because in Canada we go by Celsius and not in Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit, I think it was like 90s to 100. So we want to be conscious that it needs to be clothes that are really comfy, stuff that's not like heavy. So like there goes my bomber jacket I wanted to bring. I'll save that for my January trip, right? Oh, and by the way, yes, I'm also booking a trip, or it's already booked, where it's my trip that I'm going with my boyfriend and one of our best friends, Pam. We're going in January. So there's a couple of things that we pre-bought for this trip that I'm also going to be able to use for my trip in January, which is awesome. But some things like, for this trip, obviously I can't bring my whole like billion Spirit jerseys that I have like all here. I can't bring them during the middle of summer. So we really had to kind of get inventive with like a lot of our clothing choices. So let me now go ahead and set up my suitcase. I'm going to start putting everything out. I'm going to show you kind of their intention, what some outfits might look like, some little teases so you can kind of see it more in the vlogs. But let's go officially start packing and just kind of getting this set up. First thing I just wanted to do, because I'm going to be setting up, kind of like my packing space here and whatnot. The first thing I just wanted to kind of show you is this is actually the hand grip that I'm going to be holding for my phone. So the phone goes right in there, and then I can hold on to it as I'm on the trip. And it's something that I never thought of having, but I mean, it's so lightweight and it's so comfortable to hold in your hand that I just felt like I really needed for the trip, because again, I don't want to get like carpal tunnel in like my hand from holding it like this the whole trip. And this is a really convenient and cheap option if ever you guys are thinking about vlogging or just doing your daily lives. But what I would say with this is that I got this off of Amazon. It was still like super cheap and affordable. I think it was about like 45 bucks Canadian. And this also acts as like a little mini tripod. So really convenient. I think this is going to be like an awesome game changer for like my vlogging experience. Alrighty, we are all set up. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to bring all the stuff out here onto the bed, just start getting packing, set up some expectations at the same time, and just talk to you guys as I'm packing and doing some things. So yeah, let's get this started right away. Okay. Alrighty. So as you may notice already, I actually am putting my medium suitcase inside my larger suitcase. This is something that I like to do with every Walt Disney World trip, because knowing myself, I'm probably gonna spend a lot of money and I'm gonna need a second suitcase. But the reason why I do it like this, where I'm gonna be basically putting, and this is gonna be my carry-on, so this I'll just take out and put there for you guys, is that it fits directly inside the larger one. So typically with most airline companies, you have to pay like 30 bucks Canadian, and then the second one's like 50 bucks. So what I do on the way there to save money is I just kind of put both of them together in one suitcase. So in that way, I don't have to spend an additional 50 bucks on the way there. Just kind of like a frugal traveler in that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be packing in this medium-sized suitcase and putting all my stuff in there, and then most of my stuff as well inside the carry-on. So yeah, let me go start bringing some stuff out, I guess, right? All right, so I have gone ahead and taken out most of the stuff, and some of my hanging shirts, I have them actually on the table because I'm gonna fold them, and I'm gonna bring you guys over there in a little bit. But what I like to do is I like to make sure that everything is out in the open. I can kind of see what's going on, all my important documents, etc. And most of the stuff is out on the table too, so I'll show you that too. But specifically, what I find is going to be really useful this trip is that I did get these travel cubes that I want to try, which is going to be great for compression for a lot of the t-shirts. And what I want to kind of take you through is not through like everything. I obviously don't want to like, kind of bore you guys. You guys know how to pack, but I'll definitely give you some tips. And specifically, I just want to show you some fun items that I was able to get in the meantime. So the first thing I want to kind of start off with is, I'm going to come over to this side right now. So the first thing I want to start off with is actually my toiletry bag. So I got this off of Amazon, and it's in like a 3-pack. So in this 3-pack here, basically it came with this main one, which is clear see-through, and I basically just put all my toiletry stuffs in there that I didn't need right now. So deodorant, toothpaste, the regular, I mean, I'm not gonna go into that. You guys are gonna get bored. But just everything that I felt like I did need for my trip is in here. And in this little one, which has this like little Mickey on it, this little striped zebra Mickey. Oh, he's so cute. In this one, I basically put like all like my jewelry. So like my watch, necklaces, pins, stuff like that for like my outfits, if I needed it. So this fits perfectly inside of there. And then this was another pouch that came along with it. And this would fit like pretty much a lot of different things, but what I've actually used it for is actually as my mask bag. So this is where I kind of place like my disposable mask, my reusable mask for the trip, because in most parts you're still going to need to wear a mask, especially indoors. So have that all situated, and this I'm definitely going to be keeping inside my carry-on. So I'm just going to place it over here for that reason. Bringing over some games, some really awesome ears that I got from Say Cheers over on Etsy. I just freaking love them. They're just so cute. And there is a couple other pair of ears that I will be bringing. In terms of bags, again, I am bringing a few bags. I mean, again, I am going with Jessi, who is like the queen of like Disney bounding and her bags. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough that could complement different outfits, but also at the same time some neutrals so I can kind of like interchange them on a couple of days. Like I got this one, for instance, which is like a very neutral black Mickey bag off of Amazon again. And so it's perfect as like a little mini backpack, and it has little Mickey ears. So I can wear this for my Animal Kingdom day. I can wear that to Disney Springs. I can wear that to wherever. And then for the Boo Bash, I am going to be wearing these two bags. So this one has like little Mickey pumpkins on it. I got it from Hot Topic last year. So I have this bag, and then I have this Haunted Mansion bag, the Happy Haunt bag, that I'll be also be wearing at the second Boo Bash. So there are some bags here that are very specific to different outfits that I'll be wearing, but I want to make sure that I don't bring like a zillion bags either. I mean, like there's no point, because I will be bringing back some. I see you, Oogie Boogie, and I see you, the Pop of Haunted Mansion. I'm definitely getting my hands on those. But for that reason, I do have a couple bags for different outfits. And this one most likely will be my bag that I'll be wearing also in the airport along with my carry-on. So there's a few bags here, and this one I'm just going to put it to the side because that one's really going to be my carry-on bag. I also am bringing a magic band. We do have one that we did pay for that Jessi already received, but because it's villains and it's Halloween, of course I had to go ahead and bring my Hades magic band that I have here already linked up to my account. So I am so excited for that. So also going to put that someplace safe. So it's really just kind of making sure, like, do we have a list? Do you have something? And I do have a list, and this is where I started putting things to the side. So I created a list on my phone. I'm also very archaic where I like to leave like, actually do like notes on paper. So I made sure that pretty much everything that was on my list is here. Oh, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. It's starting to get hot. That's always what happens to me during packing. It starts to get hot because now you're like, it's finally happening. I literally have to put things in a suitcase to go. So unreal. So unreal. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, because I want to start with the packing cubes, and I want to kind of start putting in like my t-shirts that are already pre-folded. And what I do have is kind of like those folding, it's like those folding mats and whatnot. What I really appreciate about it is that it really lays them down like super flat to kind of save space. I was also somebody in the past that would kind of like roll their clothes to kind of save space, but I found this really, really good folding mat that will fit very conveniently in here with all those folded clothes. So I'm sure I can save a lot of space. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold those clothes, do like a little time-lapse ASMR and talk to y'all while I'm getting that done. And then we're gonna come back in here and start actually organizing it and seeing how I like to put inside, because this is kind of the fun Tetris part where it's trying to fit everything in there in terms of bags, in terms of ears, in terms of whatever, and some other little surprises that I am also gonna be throwing Jessi's way, because I have a little surprise for her as well. So let's go jump into that now. I feel like Julia Child or something like that, where it's like cook with me because we're literally in my kitchen right now. But it's just a lot easier to kind of do this out here versus inside the bedroom. I'm kind of using that as like my packing space. So this is kind of like the folding laundry folder that I was talking about. I use this all the time for my regular laundry, and I especially use it for my trips now because it's been a game changer where it really does like, you know, flatten out the shirts like super thinly, super nicely, and it's gonna fit perfectly inside those packing cubes. So ever since then, I've been just kind of using it. Now we have this whole stack of shirts that I need to fold and to kind of put inside the suitcase. First things first, just kind of clarifying. So this trip started, we started planning it basically the day that they announced Boo Bash, which was about 100 days ago about 90 days ago for my calendar. So I can't remember the exact date. And we literally spoke to each other the night before and being like, do you just want to do it? Do you just want to go? And so that's what we did. We booked our tickets. At that time, to be fair, you know, COVID was getting a lot better and Canada was just starting to roll out its second round of doses. So by that time, I felt a little bit more safe and secure to go traveling. Because initially I was supposed to go on the trip with my boyfriend and our best friend Pam in September, but we changed it because of everything that was going on, and we moved that one to January so we can enjoy a little bit more Festival of the Arts. But this kind of opened that up to us doing this trip together, and I said, well, by that time we can still travel non-essentially, but there might be quarantine, there might be that, and thank God, with the double vaccine and the changes and restrictions, now we can travel as Canadians to the United States by plane, because you still can't do it by land in terms of crossing the border by car or by ferry boat or whatever it is. So all those different options, but by plane, you definitely can. It's just that originally, if you didn't have your vaccine, you need to be quarantined. Even if you're vaccinated, you had to be quarantined. Then they changed the restrictions more in June, July, where you can travel, not have to quarantine, but you still have to get a COVID test. So going into the United States is a lot easier. It's the rapid antigen test. But then on the way back, I have to get a full PCR test and go into like the Canadian approved ArriveCan app and kind of deal with all that. So that was like a whole thing that we had to kind of deal with over the summer. We had the regular stress of our jobs, but we also had the regular stress of kind of organizing this trip around COVID, because again, it's not just as if, you know, she's traveling with an American where it's a lot more easier to kind of fly in and out. Within Canada, we still had a lot of restrictions, and vaccines were rolling out a lot more slowly than they were originally in the United States. So with that, we had to kind of get a lot of the information and kind of see how we were feeling as time was going on. And it was really more until about August where we got a lot more of that reassurance. We got a lot more of those flights kind of set in stone, which was great, because within Canada, if you are a Canadian looking to fly to the United States or anywhere, it is a pain in the butt. Like in terms of any Canadian company. So it was like WestJet I dealt with Air Transat, I dealt with Air Canada, I dealt with pretty much every Canadian company you can think of, and all of them, and I'm not trying to be dramatic here, literally 5 of my flights got rescheduled because, you know, there's not enough capacity, they keep rearranging the schedule, a variety of different reasons that you can go ahead and research online, because there's so many articles about it. But what I will say is that if you are looking to travel, especially Canadians looking to travel the United States, book with a US company. I'm flying with Delta now, and they were at capacity of about 80 to 90% of the actual flight last time I checked, versus the Canadian flights, which had maybe about 8 to 9 people on them. So just a little tip there, if you're looking in the next couple of months up until the end of 2021, I would kind of go that route, because it was such a pain in the butt to Disnerds. Like honestly, it was so stressful, and I know I wasn't trying to mention a lot of things because I didn't want to ruin the surprise, and a lot of things were up in the air. But now that we're kind of being real and we're kind of packing with one another, that's just something that I want you to be aware of. You have to get the test. There's a lot of, air travel restrictions, but also in terms of the airlines are just going nuts right now. It is getting better because a lot more people are traveling as of right now. They're starting to in Canada. So over the next couple of months, I do expect it to get better. And I think it's going to be a different story when I do travel in January. But for right now, guys, oh my God, it was so stressful. I'm like, no, it was so stressful. Like, I constantly had this anxiety. And then you're probably going to be like comment down below, like, well, then why did you do it? Honestly, it was my mental health at the end of the day. For me, my happiest place is Disney. It really is that. I mean, my happy place is here with my home, with my boyfriend and my family. That's always priority number one. But when we kind of think about anything else, my priority, my things that I really spend money on is travel, and specifically to Disney. So for me, it was just kind of let's do it to bring that happiness back and just kind of get out of the box, and things will get better. It's just that it's taking its time. I know I'm talking a lot, so I'm just gonna try to actually fold some clothes now. So it's just very convenient, this thing, in terms of folding the clothes here, and it just makes it super flat, and then there you go, it's done. So also, just to clarify what we're going to be doing on our trip, so we originally, kind of like I mentioned previously in the video, we were making it kind of like a long weekend trip of 4 days. And then those 4 days kind of turns into 5 days with some things we wanted to get planned. And then one of my favorite events is Halloween Horror Nights. And I wasn't sure if Jessi was going to be game because she's not really into horror movies. She loves Universal. She loves E.T., as we all know. But I wasn't sure if she was going to be game because it is scary. I mean, it's meant to scare you. It is Halloween Horror Nights. And if you've never been, I went back in 2016, and it was one of the funnest experiences I've ever had at a park or at an event. And so since they told us that they were going to be having Halloween Horror Nights that year, I asked Jessi, I said, hey, Jessi, I mean, I don't know if you're game for this, but Halloween Horror Nights is happening. Do you want to maybe go? And so she was completely game. Another Stitch shirt here with all the villains on there. It's going to be so cute. So excited to wear this shirt in the parks. But she said, yeah. And so then that turned into kind of more of a 6-day trip because we wanted to kind of really do the original things we wanted to conquer, all the days of the parks. But then a lot of our nights were getting taken up because we actually decided to go to Boot Bash, not just once, but we're going twice. So we have another night that's kind of out of the way now because it's Halloween Horror Nights, and we kind of made a full day of it where we're gonna go and actually do the stay and scream zone. So we're gonna arrive at the park basically at around 3 p.m. and you basically purchase, I think it was about like $30 US, where you basically just get access to Universal for 2 hours, and then you get to stay as the park is closing, and you don't have to go wait in the long line to get into the parks afterwards, because there's a lot of people that gather. And so with that, we said, let's play it smart. Let's get into the park, ride a couple of rides, kind of get some shopping out of the way. And then that way we can stay in what they call a stay and scream zone, which is basically just this little zone that they have section off for people who have paid those extra little tickets. Where you can therefore wait more closer to a house and not wait into the big line. So that's one thing that we wanted to do, was the stay and scream. And then on the flip side of that, we also got express passes. Oh, so let me just actually take a step back because I didn't actually explain. If you guys aren't aware of what Halloween Horror Nights is, Halloween Horror Nights is basically an event that Universal Studios hosts each year. It's their version of kind of the scarier version of Mickey's Not So Scary, if you will. It's their Halloween event where they have an assortment of haunted houses themed off of movies, TV shows. They have scare zones where you're walking through the parks and they try to scare you. And so this specific year, they have The Haunting of Hill House. They have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They have Beetlejuice. So some really, really fun houses, but it's also their 30th anniversary. So on top of it, they have what they call icons. So kind of like you know, at the Villains Spectacular, right? Villains After Hours, they had Hades as like the icon who was the kind of like the head honcho of the event, right? Well, this, each year over these 30 years, they have had different icons that Universal has created. And because it's their 30th year, all the icons are back. So it's pretty epic this year. And just to kind of specify, ironically, this is all the icons that are at Halloween Horror Nights. And I found this on Redbubble. All of these different persons on the shirt are different icons from years past. So each year they had a different icon. And one of my favorite ones is actually Chance and Jack the Clown. So Chance is basically kind of like, so over here on this side, you can see this like red-haired clown, Jack. He's the main icon this year, but these are all the other icons that are there. It's like the usher, caretaker. We have as well Eddie, who is Jack's brother. They're basically maniacal clowns. And Chance is kind of like a Harley Quinn version to like the Jack's Joker, if you will, but they're very maniacal and they really terrorize and torture people. But so many fun icons from years past, with one of the main one being Fear. Fear is actually an icon as well. That's the one that's actually on top here. So this kind of represents this guy with the eyes is actually Fear. So not only is it Jessi's first time going and was she completely game to go to Halloween Horror Nights, it's her first time and it's the 30th anniversary. So it is a huge year to go. And I am just very much excited. I'm so excited for the Disney trip, but I'm so excited for Halloween Horror Nights at the same time. And that's gonna be a lot of fun and screaming that you guys will be seeing on those vlogs. I tell you that. That's gonna be a funny one. I'm expecting you guys to see a fun vlog about that. I'm expecting you guys to see 2 vlogs or maybe 1 compliant vlog of both times that we went to the Boo Bash and get a lot of treats and a lot of candy. But we are going to absolutely every single park. Okay, so because of all the stuff that we wanted to add on, our 4-day trip basically turned into like a full week trip. Another reason why it got delayed again was because of the flights always getting changed around. I was afraid that my flights were gonna get canceled and that we would like miss one of the events because of me, because we were supposed to arrive on a particular day of the week. So I think we were supposed to arrive originally on a Wednesday. And then what happened was that we had Halloween Horror Nights on like one of the other days that was following that and one of the Boo Bashes. And I was just like, oh God, what if it happens where like I miss the flights because all these changes around, Canada's going kind of crazy mental right now. So I said, Jessi, do you mind if I actually arrive a day earlier just so this way, you know, I can have that reassurance. So I'm actually arriving a day earlier. And then a week later after I made the decision, Jessi said, you know what, you're gonna have fun without me for that one night? No, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go and arrive a day early too. So we're both actually arriving a day earlier. So a 4-day trip turned into a 5-day trip, which then therefore turned into a 6-day trip, and now a full week. So that's just to say that, you know, we just really made sure that if we're gonna do this, that we're gonna have the best time and really get the most bang for a buck out of it. Oh, this really cute shirt, this Stitch Rainbow shirt that I got from Ashlyn and Deshawn during one of my first box swaps, which was Boy of the Kingdom. So I'm bringing this one, most likely for an Epcot day. Some other things you're gonna be seeing in this trip, because I am going potentially for not just 2 trips, I am potentially maybe even going for a 3rd trip next year. I'm gonna become an annual pass holder for the first time. And I am just so excited. I can't believe that I'm actually saying those words. And I'm gonna become a pass holder for the first time as I'm going on this trip. So that's another thing you can expect is kind of me checking out and seeing the benefits of, you know, annual passes and kind of the discounts and kind of seeing like, do I like it? Like, you know, my first impression of it. I know I'm going to enjoy myself and I know I'm going to like it. But it's just one of those things where I can't believe it's actually happening. I just can't believe that annual passes are finally coming back. And yes, they are a little bit more expensive than they were before. It's pretty much like $12.99 US for the new ones. And yes, it doesn't include, you know, the photo pass and the parks. And I get it. Not everybody can afford some things like that. But For me, I just have to think about in terms of when I think about most bang for the buck and the fact that I'm doing at least 2 trips and I'm gonna be spending a lot. It's just the option that makes the most sense for me because it's just gonna end up being cheaper. So no matter what it covers or not, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for that. So that's something else that you can kind of expect is annual pass holder. I'm gonna be an annual pass holder for the first time doing that. So we are staying on property. We are going to be renting a car. So we were originally going to be doing the Magical Express, but, and I'm kind of sad because I won't be able to experience it then, in January because it stops as of January 1st or something like that, or as soon as January hits of next year. They're stopping the Magical Express service, which kind of sucks because it was like a great free ride to Disney and was kind of just part of all the magic. And but now because of the COVID tests, a lot of the COVID tests when I have to come back into Canada, they require drive-through. Like you're not allowed to kind of go into a clinic. There are some clinics, but most of them are drive-by clinics. So that was kind of a thing where I'd have to take an Uber and we're like, okay, well, is an Uber driver going to accept the fact that we're going to go get our test, even if, I'm fairly positive that's going to turn out negative? It's just one of these things was becoming a stress. And so when Jessi and I were starting to discuss a lot of the things we're going to be doing, we noticed that would actually kind of save us probably money in the long run and kind of actually be so much more convenient and reassuring if we rented a car. So for that reason, we're going to be renting a car. We're still going to be doing the public transport, like the Skyliner, different things like that. But for the most part, we rented a car and we're gonna be able to meet at the airport, kind of drive to the hotel, drive to wherever we wanna go. We're gonna have a fun little date night the first night where we're gonna go to probably Cheesecake Factory and Target and the character warehouses and different things like that. So do expect some fun little mini adventures that aren't just Disney related on this trip, but we are renting a car for that reason. So that's another expectation that we have, is that to get around, we're gonna try Skyliner. Maybe we might take a bus or two depending on what we're doing, or if we actually wanna drive in that day, but we're gonna be driving around a lot because Jessi is a huge fan of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And so we're gonna make sure that she lives her coffee dreams, and it's gonna be a lot easier too to drive to Universal Studios that way when we go to Halloween Horror Nights and vice versa. So looking very forward to that. And you'll notice that I said, yes, we're going during a time where it's gonna be very hot, but I do have this Stitch Spirit jersey I'm bringing because the newer Spirit jerseys, or at least this version of it, is super, super lightweight. It's more of like a t-shirt, light t-shirt cotton material versus those thicker Spirit jerseys, if you kind of know where I'm coming from and think about the ones in the past. So I'm actually gonna bring this because I feel like I could actually wear this and stand the heat. Also have some fun graphic prints that I might wear. On the shirt, it's kind of this graphic print of Mickey saying, "Oh boy." So I'm thinking about wearing this either to like a Hollywood Studios day or like Disney Springs, something fun, a little bit of fashion for you. So I have that one. And then I have this other one, which both were from H&M, if I'm not mistaken. This is one where it's like Sorcerer Mickey. So it's this very light, so light material. It's gonna be so easy breezy to wear. And I have this other print, which is this cheetah print, which is obviously gonna be for one of our Animal Kingdom days. So just some really fun prints and like Disney bound ideas. So also need to go ahead and fold that. So let me go ahead. I kind of feel like I went through like most of the expectations and kind of like, what we've been going through to kind of lead up to this trip. And I'm sure if I remember some other things, I'll say it later down the line. But let me go finish this up and then we'll go ahead and start putting it actually inside the cubes. So Disnerds, what I really also wanted to show you was just kind of a spreadsheet that Jessi created. She's really like the queen of spreadsheets, and she created kind of these little challenges for us. We kind of created this mutually together, and I could fill this in and change it. But basically, it kind of has a challenge every week of what I wanted to do. Am I doing like my FitnessPal logging? Am I making sure I have fruit, drinking water? And basically, every single time we did these things, we would give ourselves a point. And those points are little things that are going to allow us in the park to kind of be like, you know what, we did good in terms of 3 months leading up to the trip, so let's go ahead and spoil ourselves now. And then in terms of other things too, we have as well different schedules. So kind of like the daily, kind of park hours, what exactly we're going to be doing, the outfits that we're going to be wearing potentially, or things that we don't want to be forgetting. So it's really awesome, to kind of, yes, pre-plan, but that enough pre-planning so that when you go to the parks, you can just be flexible and have fun and just go around and know what each other's priorities are for that reason. So I just wanted to kind of show you the amazing kind of spreadsheet that Jessi kind of made for us. And I don't want to go into her tabs because I want to respect your privacy, but at the same time, just to kind of show you what I kind of wrote down for myself with some different things for the outfits, and just to make sure that I've checked my list and made sure I have everything that I'm bringing. So there you go. This is something else that could really help you in terms of pre-planning, and also setting up little challenges for yourself in terms of if you want like a little fitness goal or certain little goals that you have before your trip. All right, so we're back inside the bedroom, and now that I pretty much folded everything that needed to be folded, I do have one extra laundry that I need to do for a few things, but I'll just do that off camera. What I will be doing is just kind of now putting the camera down. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting everything inside the travel cubes, doing a little Tetris game inside my suitcases and my carry-on, and I'll show you more of the finished product at the end, what I kind of found out, some tips and tricks. The other thing I wanted to make you guys aware of is that I completely forgot. We are staying on site, but we are staying at specifically Pop Century Resort, which is my first time being there. I'm absolutely so excited to be staying at that resort. I have stayed on site before. I stayed at Art of Animation, I've stayed at All-Star Movies and Music before this, but never at Pop Century. And I am so excited to be experiencing this for the first time with Jessi, who is like a connoisseur of that resort. She absolutely loves that resort. And for the simple reason that I'll be the first time that I can go ahead and actually see what the resort looks like, because we will be returning back to it in January and February with my boyfriend and our friend Pam. So I'll be able to kind of know a little bit more of the layout, be a little bit more informed for that trip, but I'm a complete noob when it comes to Pop Century. We did also upgrade our room to the preferred room to make sure that we're closest to the lobby, the Skyliner, the parking lot. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking very forward to staying at the resort too. Good morning, Disnerds. As you can see, it's already the next day. I know I was going to say I was going to show you the packing cubes. I'm actually going to show you that later. It's actually day 2 and I'm here on site about to get my COVID test. So this is where it's going to kind of make it or break it for my vacation, because I need to make sure that I turn out negative in order to actually get onto the flights. So that is a requirement now, just so you guys are all fully informed, that you need to go ahead and get a COVID test, whether it be the antigen or PCR test, basically when you're going from Canada to the United States. So I'm here within 72 hours of my flight. That's another requirement in order to get that test, and I'll just bring you through the experience. I'll let you know how it goes right afterwards, and kind of what was the breakdown, what exactly happened, because it's my first time ever getting a COVID test. So the main difference between like the regular antigen test is they just kind of put the swab up the nose, and then you get the results rapidly within 15 minutes. And then you get an attestation within 3 hours that kind of specifies that it's a negative or positive result. So you can kind of bring it to the airport. Again, you have to be negative to get onto the flight. So that's the route that we want to go there for, right? And then from there, the PCR test is the one where basically it's kind of like a deeper one apparently, but specifically they send the results off to a lab. It's like a full one that you get within 72 hours. So for that reason, I'm only needing the rapid one, and that's what I'm gonna be taking here today. But for right now, we're gonna go get tested. Wish me luck. And this is just to show you one of the stations that I'm at. Okay, so I'm back home from my COVID test, and the great news is I came out negative, which means officially that I can travel from Canada into the United States. I am absolutely so excited, because that was like the final little hurdle that I had to get through in order to make sure that I could travel, despite the fact being vaccinated or not. So I just feel so much more relieved right now. And I'm so glad as well that I got home in time, because it is like pouring rain. It's supposed to be pouring rain this whole time. I'm hoping the weather when we get down to Disney is gonna be okay, because Ida just passed through and it's supposed to be thunder showers, thunderstorms, but as the week goes on, it should actually be getting a lot better. But we're prepared. We have everything that we need. We have ponchos, we have our umbrellas, we have our walking rain shoes, as I showed you guys. So I'm just excited to be there and just to kind of have some fun with Jessi and just all of you guys if you're kind of tagging along for the ride, which I definitely hope you are. Now, getting back to the COVID test, I just want to kind of say it was my first experience that I've ever been through in terms of a COVID test. As you can kind of see, it was the specific one I went to is kind of this clinic that's these trailers that are available on the weekend, and each kind of little door is like a different nurse. My nurse was super, super nice and friendly, and I was in and out of there within 10 minutes. I walked in, she was just kind of saying, can you just confirm your name, your date of birth, everything. We're gonna go ahead and set this, we're gonna do the sample right now, and then I'm gonna send the result off to the lab so they can kind of send you the email confirmation, whether it was positive or negative. So she just kind of explained everything. I asked my little questions just to guarantee the antigen test is good for US, even though I've been confirming it everywhere, but I need that for my peace of mind because it is still like $150. You have to kind of, I've seen some where it's 150, some 200. So, you know, I want to make sure that I'm getting the right test for that amount of money because it's not covered by insurances. And she was like very cool, very calm, collected. She said, no, it's all good. That is the proper test. And she said, since it's your first time, just know that it might be a little bit uncomfortable. You might want to sneeze. Your eyes might tear up, but it's not painful or anything like that. So I was like, okay. And she did it, and it was just more ticklish than anything. My eyes did water up. I did want to sneeze, but I actually thought the sensation was kind of interesting. It was so ticklish. It's the way that I could describe the little Q-tip that they put in there. It kind of looks like those little mini bristle straw cleaners, but like a miniature version for the nose. It was so interesting. And I can say that now because I got the good negative result, but it was still a pain and a half. And then we got through to it. She put the swab directly onto the test result, and this little blue line was increasing. I was like, well, what does that mean in terms of blue line increasing? She says, with one line, it means that you're positive. 2 lines, you're good to go. And mine went pretty much all the full way up. So that means that I'm negative and that I can officially get back to packing with you guys. And I'm just so excited because now I just feel so relieved. So let's go ahead and start cubing and get the show on the road because we are going to Disney. So mostly everything is cubed, but before I start organizing my mini backpacks conveniently inside my suitcase and my carry-on, I just wanted to show you what shoes I'm bringing. I'm actually bringing 4 different pair of shoes, and I know it seems extra, I know it seems like a lot, but there's a specific reason for all of them. So the first thing I want to start off with is really these guys. These are my Vessi running shoes that are super comfy, but they are waterproof. They're like super, super waterproof. So I'm going to bring those just in case it rains, because again, when you go inside the park, you want to make sure that your shoes are the comfiest shoes of life, that you want to go for comfort rather than style. And what I did make sure is that the ones that are a little bit more stylish, where this is more of a photo op with my white graphic tee, I do have some gel inserts for the times that I will be wearing it during that day, but then I can easily interchange them with these other running shoes. So these are more my walking running shoes, and I just wanted them in case I have more of a darker outfit, kind of more black on black, and then if I want a little pop of white in there, I'm gonna bring those. So these are my 2 main pair of walking shoes. This is more for like a photo opportunity and like maybe Disney Springs, so kind of like fun events. You wanna make sure that your feet are comfy and good to go for the whole entire trip. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cubing them, putting them inside some bags, showing you how I, kind of intermix everything in this kind of Jenga game of packing. But I wanted to show you what are the 4 pair of shoes I typically do bring. Now again, Disnerds, this is really the first time that I'm bringing so many different lounge flies, and I'm trying to get really creative in terms of how I try to keep like these ones where we really want to kind of make sure keeping their shape. I'm actually going to be putting some of my shoes in them, but I also, for this specific bag, I got tons of treats from Bulk Barn for our room whenever we need a little, a little nibble, late at night, just a little sugar rush, if you will, in terms of our days, and maybe we just need that little boost of energy. So I got all this kind of like fun little treats for Jessi and I at Bulk Barn. Candy, some apple, and some some peach rings, sour keys, cherry balls. Jessi loves these, some cashews, some chipotle and lime little crackers, some onion rings, some watermelon slices. And what I'm going to do, because I can actually put all of this food, being that it is like a firm candy, a more firm candy rather than a liquid candy, I'm gonna actually stuff this in this bag and in order to help it keep its shape, and therefore put in my carry-on as well with this hat. So gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna show you how it turned out right after. Now, in order to keep the hat shape, I put it nose down. So it's kind of nose down this way, and therefore I'm gonna stuff the candy in the remaining little spaces here. So just kind of like a nice little hack in terms of conserving as much space as possible. And voila. Everything is all in the bag now. So all the candy and the hat, the bag is gonna be able to keep its shape, and I'm gonna be able to keep that in my carry-on. So this way that extra weight is not inside my main suitcase, being that we have more of a limit there than we do on our carry-on bags. And if you do have a pretty heavy carry-on bag, they could just check it at the beginning of the plane as well too, but at least it's not gonna be weighed down and you don't have to pay for that. So this bad boy is gonna be going inside my carry-on. Now, in terms of this really cute Mickey Pumpkin Halloween bag, I also want to kind of stuff this one to kind of maintain its shape. So what I'm thinking of is actually taking my heaviest shoes, which are actually these ones, and not having it inside my suitcase, kind of stuffing it kind of just in. They're going to poke out. And also, I have this little mini safe that I like to bring on my vacations down south because you can lock it up on a chair and you can put your wallet in there, your phone, it's completely safe. And so I brought this on many vacations and it's just been kind of like a game changer. It is as well on Amazon that I got, I think for about like 30-ish bucks. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to put both of them in, or try to put at least all of this again in my carry-on with the other thing. To also just, I did clean my shoes, but just to kind of protect, you know, the inside of this like beautiful orange lining, I will also be kind of wrapping the shoes in this bag and putting it in here. And then afterwards, if I don't go ahead and use this bag again for these shoes, I can use it as like a laundry bag. I can use it as that. So really big tip, try to bring some extra little Ziplocs, some extra plastic bags, or use those plastic bags that you got from your purchases to kind of help you with like laundry bags and kind of covering and protecting maybe those valuables that you adore and you're bringing on vacation. All right, so there you have it. So I've wrapped up the shoes, they're here, and in that little nook, because I put the base, so like the heel of the shoe at the bottom, so it kind of conserves space here. On the top, it allowed me to now put that space for that safe that's right there, so it's nestled in back. My bag is kind of keeping its shape and kind of conserving some space. So there you go. Here's my carry-on, and those are the two bags that you just saw that I was filling up. They're stuffed to the brim, so it's really conserving space. And now with these extra nooks and crannies, I can kind of put maybe some t-shirts, a pair of shorts, just to be on the safe side in case anything happens to my luggage. I do have an extra change of clothes here, some other things that are lighter. But again, a lot of other things I put here in my backpack. So these are the two things that I will be bringing on the plane with me. But look at all that space that I saved. All right, so we are pretty much done. This is the finished product. I'm going to say that this is maybe about an hour or so later since when we last spoke. And I think there's an important word here, which is edit. I actually took out a lot of things, rearranged some things. You know, in terms of this game of Jenga, when it comes to luggage, I think it's really important to kind of like reassess, see like what's really priority, see if you need those extra 2 t-shirts, see if you need that extra pair of shorts or whatnot. And so let me just kind of show you exactly what I finished up with. So these are my main clothes. So in here I have like PJs, shorts, different type of t-shirts. You can see the Booty You shirt that I'm gonna be wearing to one night of the Boo Bash. And this one, it's all other different type of shirts as well. Then in here, I have some more of the bags that I'm gonna be bringing. I have my Hercules bag right here. I have my little black one. I have my little gift for Jessi, and some little spot treatments for us during the night that she doesn't know about yet, which is so much fun. And then what I end up doing is you'll notice here that I had the 2 Loungeflies in there. And what I said is I'm gonna actually put 2 pair of shoes, kind of squash them in there in order to kind of save space. And I'm gonna also bring, like I was telling you guys, some extra clothes just in case. You never know, knock on wood, that that you know they might lose your suitcase. I want to make sure that I bring my next day's outfit in here. So that's going to be going right on top of that. So this won't be overstuffed. And then here inside my little carry-on bag, I have a poncho, I have a fan, I have my wallet with my passport and everything. I have my sunglasses, I have my chargers, my earphones, hand sanitizer, everything that I'm gonna need basically on the flight. What I did say is that that lounge fly was over in there at one point in time, but what I'm gonna do in order to keep its shape, I'm gonna put it in here, but I put my toiletry bag in there. So it's gonna be able to keep its shape and then kind of save space to kind of make everything fit. Now, just before I'm packing everything up officially, I'm just going through my toiletry bag one last time. And what I like to do is that in terms of everything that is liquid, so whether it's moisturizer, shampoos, conditioners, you know, face scrubs, toothpaste, all that, everything that basically could leak out, like that's like liquids, I like to make sure that they are covered in plastic bags. And I'm even gonna put an elastic around them just to be safe. So that's just kind of like my little hack for my reassurance to make sure that there's gonna be no leakage. I also would recommend, I mean, bring everything. Like, I'm someone who needs a reassurance that I'm gonna have like every sort of like pain medication, headache medication, lip scrubs, you know, tummy issues, making sure that, like, you know, you're moisturizing with aloe at the end of the night because Florida sun is no joke. So this is what really brings me some reassurance. And so I have like a whole little pharmacy in here, like Reactin, cold effects as well, tweezers, band-aids, I mean, you name it. I'm basically a walking soccer mom at this point. This is what I like to do, and just my really main hack is pack everything in like a little baggie and elastic, just to avoid that hassle if ever there is any leakage. Well, it's done. Finished the packing, obviously, just need to close it, but not gonna close it right now. But I was able to fit everything inside that medium suitcase with my carry-on and my own personal item. Still debating which pair of shoes to bring, if I'm gonna bring both or just one of them, but pretty happy that I was able to fit so much inside a medium suitcase and a carry-on, and then I'll be able to have so much more room when I'm coming back, or maybe not, depends on how much merch I buy. But there you go, that was my pack with me. So Disnerds, we're over and done with packing. I'm so excited that it's done, and even more excited that it means that I'm going on my trip with Jessi. I just, now that everything's said and done, the COVID test, packing, all the stress of the last couple of months and whatnot, the payoff is gonna be worth it. And I'm so excited to bring you along on this adventure and meet Jessi officially in person for the first time. I still can't believe it. I feel like I'm still kind of about everything. But Disnerds, if you did have some fun with me, please make sure to let me know down in the comments down below what you're looking the most forward to in terms of our trip, in terms of like maybe the tips and tricks that you liked that I put your guys' way. I really appreciate everyone being here and just kind of even watching and seeing what I have to say. But if I did go ahead and make your day a little bit more magical, please make sure to pay that magic forward to somebody else who does need it. And if you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out there, feel free to subscribe, hit those alerts, like, comment, all that jazz, because there is so much more fun vids coming the way. Of course, with Walt Disney World, but then also I have a Mickey Loot a video that's going out while I'm on my trip. So I tried to make sure that there's some content also happening. Please make sure to go check out my Instagram as well and TikTok, because there is tons of things that we're gonna be putting up on there just between Jessi and I. And just at the end of the day, Jessi and I are just wanting to have fun, and I hope that just kind of feeds itself back over to you guys to be there in spirit. With that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we will definitely be talking soon. Bye guys, I'm off to Disney! Bye!